Hello and welcome to the session 1 to Junk Journal Your Christmas that I will be showing you guys a few videos on how I plan on junk journaling my Christmas this year. Now, just to kind of give you a little feedback if you're new to my channel, is I've done December Daily since 2011, I believe, is the first album that I did. And so this year I've been really getting into junk journaling, and I love the idea of using little golden books as a journal. And so that's what I've chosen to document my December with and journal my Christmas with. And so I basically wanted to put together a little series. If you scroll back into my videos that I've done last year, I did the 12 days of Christmas journaling, I believe is what I called it. I'm sorry if I can't remember. But basically I had different videos that showed 12 different concepts to actually doing like a December journal. So this year, like I said, I love the idea of the golden books, and I wanted to demonstrate how I created these using book rings. And so I wanted to kind of show you how I did that. Now, I think I did like 15 on my website, and I created these little kits that kind of got everybody a starting point to their journal. So real quick, I'd like to show you what the ones that I sent out look like. This is just some of the tidbits that I'm gonna talk about. So this is basically what I had listed on my website and I sold. And I'm sold out. I think I have this one left. Actually, I just posted this one because I'd made this one extra, and I totally forgot about making it live. So this one is available on my site. But basically, if you look through this cute little book, even though it's cut and disassembled, the entire story is in the book. So all the pages that were in the original book would be would have been kept in this journal. Now, the only thing I've added cardstock and 28-pound paper, and I think that's it. Cardstock. Yeah, so it's intermingled with the story. So it has the cardstock, story, and the white paper. Now, the joy of having the rings, I've discovered, is that you're able to take these out, move it around. I also created a journal a while back, basically documenting my new home and my move, because it's totally out of what we were used to. It's out on farmland, and so it's just fun to document. Like I said, I call it my life in Winchester. But it's fun because I'm able to move around the book pages. And then I wanted to, that's one of the reasons I like doing the rings. So let me just do kind of a quick little flip through. So basically there's the train. If you hear the train, I'm not sure if you can hear it in here, but I hear it going by. Basically the books are filled with cardstock, and then it also has little journaling cards. It has some music sheets in there. I think they had one. All of them have this pocket. There's 3 envelopes that I call a pocket, and in another video I'll show you other ways to make pockets as well. But I've put stickers in there. Just basically just have filled it up, and like here's another one of the little envelope pocket, and inside each one has a set of stickers. So this particular album doesn't have them in there right now, but when it goes off to a new owner, it'll have its stickers in there. I put recipe cards in here. Basically anything that appeals to you, that you look at and it makes you think about your Christmases or how you would like your Christmases to be documented. I plan on putting a couple of my favorite songs in my journal, and I'm going to show you mine in just a moment. Stationery items, like if you have paper that you really love, you can put those in there. Again, here's part of the book. Recipe cards. Part of my journaling that I always like to do is at least do a recipe that I used to try something new every year, and I think I'll probably try to do that again this year. And each year is different, and that's part of life. You know, what you want to do one year may not work out the following year, but then the following year it works out. So that's part of journaling things and basically telling your story. So I also put tags in, these little really cute sparkly tags. Another envelope. You can never have too many of these little, oh, I can't, my brain went blank. You know what these are, right? They sell them in a bundle. Kids have to have them for school. I can't think of what it's called. It'll come to me later on after the video, like, oh yeah, that's what it's called. So you get the kind of the concept of what is in the journals that I sent out. Now the fun part is, even if you got this journal that this junk journal from my website, or you know, ordered it, you have the opportunity now to add your personal touches to it. So this is the one that I'm going to be using, and you'll see me using this throughout the different video series. And I'm into the Nutcracker. I love the Nutcracker. My daughter was in the one locally. It's kind of like for the children, by the children, so it's presented by the children, and it's so cute. And yes, we went and saw the real Nutcracker, and it was a long one, but I love the dancing. I love the storyline, and we plan on going this year. And also the new Nutcracker, what's it called? The fourth realm or something. It's coming out November 2nd, so I'm totally excited. It kind of looks a little magical, mystical. I'm not sure what the storyline is exactly. I know it's about the Nutcracker, but I think it's kind of like with a twist. So I'm looking forward to that. But now I just added this in here before I started filming. This is a piece of acetate paper that I received from Mommy Lay's. My daughter sat at her table at this last planner meetup that we went to, so I put that in there because I love the pink bows and it's so cute. And I'm planning on putting probably a Nutcracker picture behind here. And so I've just kind of started clipping in little bits and pieces. This is maybe a little hint from the November kit that I have coming up, but I wanted to kind of just clip that in there. And basically this is really constructed the same as the ones that were presented on that I just showed you, but I have started adding like in here I have die cuts. So these are the die cuts I plan on using for my kit. So I've started putting those in there, and I'll get into more in that as we move through the series, but it's pretty much the same. Now I did want to show you something else I added. Oh, here we go. Was this page. This was out of a last year's Daphne's Diary. If you do not get this magazine, it's a great magazine, and sometimes I have a hard time. She has all these great ideas of cutting out, and you can add to your journaling pages. Look how pretty that is. Like, I love this scene. And in the past, I have been known to hoard these. I don't want to cut them up, but I don't think those were her intentions. I think she wants you to put these in your journals, use the stickers, use the images, and really see how she has little things that you can cut out and tear out. And I think that's what her idea behind her magazine is. And so I told myself to use it. Look at that beautiful tree. Oh my goodness. So that's an idea to use this kind of things to add to your, because I love that it's the Nutcracker here, so I added that in there. The other thing, before I show you how to construct, because I kind of wanted to use this video as a construct, what was I going to name it? Construct and gather, because one of the things that I feel like is important when you're going to start journaling is to have everything that you want in your area. So that way you're not digging. I know that I waste so much of my creative time digging for things. I'm looking for things, I'm searching. I know I had that, where did I do that? Oh, let me go buy more of it. Then you find what you had, and then it's just, it becomes just crazy. So I like to also have an area where I will gather. So this is kind of just showing you little things that I plan on doing, and then again when I get into the series I'll get more into detail about how I plan on having the items on my desktop and things like that. So these are items that I also printed out, and I will post her link down below. And this is something I'm going to also kind of show you, because I have some handkerchiefs that I had picked up, I've had for a while, and you can scan them in. I mean, I've done that before, and then I actually bought these online. So if you don't have any, I think it's Little Bits, but it's Johanna. She has a she also has a great video YouTube channel that shows you different ways to journal as well. But I love her printables. So basically, you can order these off Etsy. Like I said, I'll leave the link below. And then you just print them off, and you could print. Say if you didn't want this big, you know, this as big, you can print them off into the smaller. You can make these into wallet sizes, and so these make great little pockets. And so this is part of my gathering. Is I started printing these out, and that way I have these available for me when I start really getting into my journaling. So the other thing that like I said, I've gathered music sheets. I have gathered, these are cards that actually I purchased at this last antique. Since it is kind of the Nutcracker, and you know, it's all about Mother Ginger, and you've got, you know, Sugar Plum Fairy. I wanted to kind of have, look how sparkly that is. And it kind of reminds me of a candy dish. And so I thought that would look really cute in here, and it could be something that you could either add a photo here, or, you know, do some journaling or something like that. I've had this guy, he's a bookmark, and he's vintage. I don't even know where I got him, but I've had him for a really long time, and I thought he needs to go in my journal. So I'm putting him into my gathering section, and I'm hoping to use him in my journal. So let's see here. Okay, oh yeah, I wanted to show y'all this. These are items that I've purchased off Etsy. I actually purchased them last year, and I was so thrilled to be able to find them again in my journal. So, I mean, in my stash. So these are also, I think it's called, there's lots of shops on the Paper Basket, the Paper Journal. If you just Google Christmas Ephemera or vintage, there's endless possibilities on there. So that's another way to gather different things that you're looking for your particular junk journal. And I like using vintage items in there. These are kind of like a velvety touch to them, so I like using that. You know, different touches. You can add, you know, like ribbon. You can add different kind of textures to really make things junk up your journal, so to speak. So again, in this, I will kind of go over that in my next video. But this one, I'm just kind of showing you an idea of how I'm kind of gathering some items. Now, before I move into how I constructed this particular book, I did want to show you, this was something that I added to the journals as well. And this was just kind of a little tidbit of things you can gather. And this kind of kicks it off. And I'm actually going to be using this little particular, and every one of them pretty much has the same, maybe just a tad bit different. But everybody that purchased a junk journal off my site got one of these as well. And I hope to use this to kind of show different ideas on ways you can really make your journal your own. So basically, this is actually meant to be an ornament, but it's flat. These are great. This is also something that is flat on the back. You can Google on Etsy flat backs, and sometimes you can find some things that are actually flat, which work perfectly in these types of journals, because you can glue them and they add some dimension, but they also are able to not be too puffy where they don't lay flat on the pages. I picked these up at the these are little vintage tags. This is again a velvety type paper tag, but I picked these up also at an antique, the Warrington Antique Show that I just did. Went to, he had a whole bin of them, and he was fascinated that he goes, women pick these up all the time. And I'm like, ooh, all these junk journal ladies out there. So that's my immediate thought. But this was a tag that I picked up. It came in a tin can that had a lot of different tags in there. So always keep your eye out, you know, just because it's a tag or it's, you know, it can be used in your journals as well. So I put this in here because we're going to be making a little wand later. This is for, you know, hello, sparkly stars. I mean, you can't get any funner than that, but you can start collecting little pieces of confetti. This is also something that I absolutely love, and she has so many fun items, and I wish I would have brought out more of these, but this is one. It's put out by Flaum. It's called 28 Lilac Lane, and let me just show you an example what's in here. It may be taped up, but it may be, I think I taped it because we just, with the move and everything, I didn't want it going everywhere. But look how fun and exciting. It's all these, just let me see if I can get a little close up, but this is like buttons and confetti and sequins and little gems. These are so fun, and they can actually be used in for a shaker, or that's pretty much what I'm going to be using it for. But you can add glue to a page, and you can put this all, you know, just clustered on there. So these are really fun, and they come in different styles. These have cute little reindeer, and it's kind of a minty color. So just kind of going through these real quickly. I have some sample washies. These little guys here, they're just a little metal disc, and I actually purchased, oops, these round stickers. They came from Hobby Lobby. It comes on a whole sheet of them. I've used these every year, and I almost pretty much use them up because I like adding this kind of texture to the pages. It just gives it a sturdy look, sturdy feel. You can, what I plan on doing is adding it to the edges of pages. It can be like a tab. So I love these, and I actually really like these little metal rings as well. Some trim, some ribbon. You can use, I love the pom-pom ribbon for junk journaling. I have paper clips in here. This cute little, this was actually, I want to say it's like in the craft section of Christmas stuff, but you can make it into like a little hanging bookmark type thing. And then some sparkle glitter stars with a flat back Santa that can be used for a paper clip. These also is vintage lace that I was able to share with everybody. I was really excited about finding a bunch of that and being able to share that. You've got twine, you've got some flowers, and some button trees. And I will more likely sew these onto a page, because again, it adds that dimension in it, but it lays flat, so it works really well in journals. These I put in here. They're just little beads, and basically, and some charms. But I want to make like a little, either a charm bookmark, or somehow use this to really have something dangling off of the journal. So those were also included. But you can add different kind of beads. I love these big chunky, I call these bubblegum beads, because you can find these on Etsy as well. And then these I have hoarded for a long time. They were basically a couple sheets of these stickers. I don't know if you guys remember these or not, but you can actually they're like a stamp. You can lick them. This was back when you licked stamps. And you can put them, and I think you can put them on like in greeting cards and things like that. But I share these as well. I've kind of hoarded them for a while because they were so nostalgic and vintage, and I loved them, of course. But I'm like, you know, I think it goes back to what in my last video, is don't hoard things, you know, use them, create with them, especially because sometimes if you wait too long, then either you stop loving it or it doesn't work quite the same. So I say use it. So yeah, that kind of sums up these cute little trinket boxes, as I like to call them, and also a way to gather. So these are just, always be on the lookout for different kind of things you can use. I personally love looking for vintage lace, vintage, you know, stuff that has texture feel to it, because to me, part of junk journaling is adding those different textiles and elements to your journals. So that's part of gathering. Let's see, is there something else? These are some of my prints that I have. I plan on adding those, especially because I had to do my ballerina. But, you know, I plan on adding some of these within my journal. Christmas cards work perfect in there. They have so many beautiful different designs, and a lot of times you can go to thrift stores and pick up like packets of them. That works perfectly for junk journaling. Okay, so as you can tell, I was collecting a lot of golden books. Kind of got a little crazy. I had actually had intentions of creating more books to post, but I've had some family things go on, and really I have had no time to do as much as my body and spirit and soul want to do. My mind's been really preoccupied. I think if you guys follow me, my grandfather recently passed away, so that has just put kind of a, you know, when things like that happen, it's just it takes some time away from, and you want to spend time with your family, and so that's kind of what it was. But just to kind of show you just the different ideas that you can. These are some of the ones that were out that I love. My daughter went through these and she said, I want this one. You can't cut that one. I want that one. Don't do that one. And so I love some of these vintage ones. So anyway, she had a ball just going through these, and I was going to show you. I just picked this one up because this one I had this one as well. And this one's kind of messed up, but don't make that deter you from not wanting to use it in your journals. I mean, that's kind of part of the junk journaling process, and a lot of times you can use like oils. We've used like even essential oils to get that kind of stuff off, but not a whole lot, but just enough to make it loose. Or there's that one, Goo Gone will work as well, but I like to use the oils because it smells good. So I wanted to show you this. She did not. We had, like I said, we had two of them, and I did cut one up for the one of the ones that I sold, but I found this one, and so I thought, look at this, it's already coming apart. I do not, it's coming apart here, because I love the graphics in this book, and I really wanted to use these graphics not only in my December daily journal, but I also wanted to use it in my regular day-to-day journal, and my planner, and anything else that I want to add papers to, because look how cute Santa is, and the little elves. So I just loved it, and I think there's one in particular. I showed some of these on my Instagram because look at that, all the stockings and their sweet little faces. Oh, and of course, making candy. This just reminds me of my grandpa, you know, too. So anyway, that just really, I was happy to find another book that was kind of already ripped up, so I didn't feel as guilty. Okay, so are you ready to show how to dissect this book? I know there's other ways on YouTube to make other ways. You can add like instead of doing the rings, you can do I think it has like material, but you insert books. So there's tons of different ways. This is basically how I did the book. So as you can tell, this little golden is just a bind. So I basically just kind of go in there and tear it off. Now, if by chance you get a book, let's see if I have one. I see my daughter put two aside that she said absolutely do not. I was going to see if there was one other one that I had duplicates of. Let me see, what is this, 12 days? Because I was going to show you if it wasn't already ripped, because see, this one's falling apart too. I love that song, The 12 Days of Christmas. See, this one's kind of, you know, been torn up and everything like that. So I'll just show you this one too, just in case you have one that the seam is still stuck on there. So I noticed that sometimes I can't peel this little book off, and so I would just go in here and just do this like that. And it just pops open and I just would rip it apart like that. And then I come in here and I just take out the pages. And then I use my trusty staple remover. Whoops. Sometimes you have to peel. By then you usually can get to it. And we're not going to keep this seam on there, so these staples are pretty heavy duty. So I had lost my staple puller in the mail. It's probably, I mean, not in the mail, and during the packing, moving, I still have so much to unpack that I just went out and bought me these. I got them like 3 of them for $2.99 or something at Staples, in this little office place that we have here. So so that's it. So that's kind of, I'm taking the book apart. I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. Whoops. I do not want to lose my stick. So this one is going to be pretty easy because, because the golden, well, I was like, oh, this one's going to be easy to take apart because the golden string is off. But that staple is on there pretty darn good. So I think this book is a lot older, so it's not as easy to tear apart. Okay, you guys, and just so you know, I buy books a lot. I love old books. I love using them for decorations. And I get them home and I can't cut them up. I just can't. They're just too adorable. And especially sometimes the older ones, you're like, gosh, they've survived this long. And here I'm going to come along and rip them up. So if you get that feeling too, it's okay. And a lot of times, with those kind of books, I will make copies. I will scan in the pictures. Excuse me. Got a tickle in my throat. I'll scan in the pictures and then just basically print them out and use them in my journals. So we got that one apart. That was pretty darn tricky. Now, when it comes to this point, if you didn't want to pull all the staples out, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Say, for instance, you find one like this that's super stubborn. We're going to get the paper cutter out. Let's move everything to the side here. And we're going to size this book down. So here we still have that staple in there. Let me get my paper cutter. I have one of these that I use. You don't have to have one of these kind. You could use the slide staple. But I will basically, let me make sure it's in the camera here. So if this happens, I'm just going to come in here. That's one heavy duty staple, y'all. I basically will come in here and I'm going to line the bend up right with the cut. And I'm just going to cut it. Just like that. If you have the slide, I don't know if it would cut this thick, but nothing that a pair of scissors can't do. Let me show you. I just purchased these scissors, so they're going to be super sharp. But if you don't have a thick, you know, what do they call it? Can't think of the name either right off the hand. But if you don't have one of these, you can use scissors. Now, on another note, you could come in here and you could add washi, which I may do that as part of my decorating of the junk journal, but you don't necessarily have to. So these are two pretty sturdy parts. Now you can see that once you cut them down, oops, the pages stick out. So what I do, and what I notice is this one, since it's older, it comes in like 2 sets, but the newer ones are like, they're just different. Like they kind of come like this. So but I always want to keep mine in order. You don't have to keep yours in order, but basically if you have to take it apart. And I put this about 6 inches, so it's going to be about 6 inches across. And there you have it. And it doesn't cut off, cuts off some of the pictures, but it's not a whole lot. And again, this is junk journaling, so kind of like it's okay if it cuts off some of it. So you have that. I like to keep them in order. And then when you come over here, ta-da! Now, if you can see, there's quite a little bit left where it hangs off. But what I want to do is by the time I start adding trims and I start adding other things, making the book thicker and thicker and thicker, that I like having this little bit left so when it does kind of pop up, it doesn't stick out. So that is basically the deconstruction of the book. Now, for the hole punching. Since I was doing those ones, since there's so many, sorry, bringing this back. I wanted to show y'all. So if you're going to be adding your paper, you would basically do the same size. So you're going to, what I did, whoops. So you know it's the 6 because you trimmed it down, right? So a little bit, I would say it's almost like 6 and not even a 1/4. What would be that, 6 and an 1/8? You cut it like that, and then I would use my books as a measurement, and it's 8 and a 1/4. So 6 and 1/8 and 8 and a 1/4. And so that way I would come in here, make sure I'm right on that. Yeah. So if you take your white piece of paper that you already had cut the 6, and then the height is 6 and a 1/4. And so then you have all your papers the same. So you would go through and take out your cardstock, which you're going to use. And what I did was I put 5 pieces of cardstock in each book. I put 10 white pages, and then you had your regular pages in there. And then of course you can, I mean, like I said, endless possibilities. Music, like for instance this one. This I cut out a hymnal, so I can come over here and it's almost the same. I'm going to cut off that trim because I don't want that rigid look to it with the torn pages, I guess. And then 20. So I'm going to actually see if I can keep most of the music on here. A little bit more. So when you have on both sides, like especially that magazine, I really wanted not to excuse me, miss out on when I did that magazine with the cookies on there. I had to go back and forth to really make sure I didn't cut them out, that they were my center focus of the magazine. But see, it runs a little bit short, but that's because I wanted to cut off that torn edge. But again, with the junk journaling, it's not all meant to be the same. You can come in here and you can add like this page where it's a lot shorter. You can fold this page up and add it in here like that. And that way you have like the smaller bits and pieces like you saw in the other one. So it's not all meant to be exactly the same. That's the joy of creating this type of journal. You can use it, you can make different size paper. So say for instance, if you had a piece of paper that you absolutely loved, but you only had a little bitty piece of it, you can stick it in there. Brochures, restaurant receipts, I mean restaurant, like you know how they have takeout food, they want to give you a to-go order thing. All of that can be used in these journals. And personally, I love using the different sizes, so size papers. Okay, so for instance, I just cut this. I have one little piece left. I could actually cut this off and add it in here. Ooh, doesn't that look pretty with the music? So, endless possibilities. Okay, so for instance, now that you have your book cut down, you're like, what's next? How do I punch the holes in? I have these little hole punches. This is one that I picked up at the dollar store. But the thing with these, they're not going to go, I don't think they're going to go through here. I didn't try. Let me try this corner here. It's not going to go. Now what I did, and I suggest this because it was just so easy. I took it down to a place called Minuteman Press, and I think they're across the U.S. I'm not sure in other countries or anything, but I think you can take it to like an Office Depot or Staples or something like that. Get all your papers lined up, at least the ones that you know for sure, and say, I want 3 holes, this is the width, this is the length. That was the quickest, easiest, carefree way that I can tell you how to do it. And that way you have all your books, you know, are the same. And you can tell them if you only want to do 2 holes, you could do 2 holes if you want it thicker. But I love this. And then as I get thicker and thicker, it'll get fuller and fuller. And I have plenty of room to grow over here. Now, if you don't have the means or way to get and have this done, if you have one of these little memory keepers, you can order these online. They basically will get through these punch holes. So we're going to take, for instance, this is the, you hear the neighbor's dog over there. He likes to bark at the cows. But this is one that you can use, and basically I would just measure it out, but this is the one that I had taken out of my journal. And I would just go in here and kind of mark out where you want your holes to be. And again, this is by preference, you could do 2. And once you have them marked out, you take your handy dandy crop and then you punch a hole. And these will actually punch through. They get stuck in there and then I can't see the next hole, but oh, broke my pencil. But it will show you where to punch. I mean, I'm sorry. Of course it's going to show you. You marked it. But it will basically punch the hole for you and be stubborn and not come out. Okay, because it's so thick in there. Oops. Pencil it out. So you would basically construct that for the front and the back. Now to do the inside pages, you would do the same concept, but you could actually use your little hole punch, or you could also use your crocodile. That would work too. So that's how I constructed mine. I did create one that was the farm one, and I did go through and punch each individual one. But like I said, it would make it so much easier if you could just pin this together, bind it, say, can you punch holes in for me? And typically they can do that. Once you have your holes punched, then I use these rings. These are these little metal rings. They come apart, they clip together. You could use ribbon, you could use yarn. What I think would be cute to do is actually, I love adding the little yarns and ribbons and material on these, especially as I get close to the end, because while I'm working on these, I like to basically have them available where I can open it up and move it around and twirl it around. And sometimes if you have the ribbon and stuff on there already, it kind of gets in the way. But so that's part of the plan as well. In my videos, kind of just showing you how to create these little junk journal things out of ribbon and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's it. That's constructing your book, giving you some ideas what to include. I hope this helps. I hope you're inspired. Just please keep in mind that this is all just because I'm using a golden book, or you know, somebody else is using this, use what you find. I mean, you could find, I found this cutest, but I could not cut it up. You know, like I said, I found this beautiful red book, and I've had it for a long time, and I just unpacked it today. And I was like, there's the book I was looking for. It's called A Christmas Carol, and it's about this big. So sweet. So would make a cute journal, but I can't cut it up. So yeah, be on the lookout. There's so many choices in creating these journals. And real quick, I wanted to show you, this is totally off topic of, well, not really, but these are ones that I love to collect. These cute little vintage little journals. This one's not so much vintage, but these have Joan Walsh, is it England? I love her illustrations. Look how sweet. These are books that I bought that I just haven't been able to cut up. This one in particular. There's another one about sometimes you're sad and about being a friend and being happy. Oh my gosh, it has such cute illustrations. But I love this little book, and this is one that, and they're all kind of like from the Hallmark. Oh, look at the colors, the mushrooms, her big bow in her hair. Oh my goodness, so stinking cute. But look at the little baby. So, and the dandelion. I just, when you see this stuff like this, and I just thought, this is so cute, and it still has the book cover. Oh, happiness is everywhere, even without the book cover. It's adorable. I can't cut this book up. It's been around forever and ever. I don't know if it has been, but so what I would do is take these pages, scan them in, use your scanner, or go down to your office supply store, scan them in, and then you can use them all the time in your journaling. So how cute. Anyway, yes, I gush all over these little books, and so I love little books anyway. But anyway, just keep that in mind that, oh, you know what, also I just had this thought. If you have like family members that like to keep journals, or that also have like something that they have and you're like, I can't, it's a family heirloom, I can't make copies of it, scan it in, put it in your journal, and that's what I like to do also for old pictures, because one of the things that I like to journal is something from a Christmas past. But I don't ever like to put the original pictures in a lot of times, because a lot of times I add glue and I add other things, and so I make a copy of it. I just scan it in and be able to make a copy, and then that way it just kind of helps preserve, and also not, where you're not cutting up something that you really don't want to. Okay, so there we go. This is the beginning. This is the video 1 of this series. I'm tossing up doing 5 or 6 of these videos. I'd like to keep them short and sweet. This one's probably longer than what I had intended on, but I hope you're inspired, and hey, tag me and show me what you're doing. I would love to see your creations as well. And on one last note, I saw my jingle bells. Can't go wrong with jingle bells. Get you a few. They're fun to have. So, alright you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.